Hey everybody, welcome to NA Lit Chat. I'm Amy Evans. It's Thursday, May 15th. It's 9 o'clock Eastern, and I hope you guys are ready to settle in with us for the next hour on Google Hangouts and Twitter. We're here to talk all about new adult literature. That's literature that takes place in that sweet spot between young adult and adult. It's those college years and just afterwards, usually features protagonists from 18 to about 26, and it talks about all those great problems and catastrophes and experiences and romances that you have during those years. We've got a really great show tonight. We are going to talk all about book launches and what the ideal timeline is and how you can really get prepared to make the most out of a new title that you are releasing. As everybody knows, we all spend a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of heart on these things, and if you really take the right steps, you do increase your chances for success and discoverability, and that means everything. So we've got St. Bende in the house. What's up, St?
Amy!
How are you? How is your week?
I'm good. I'm having a really, really fun week. I convinced Amazon to make turf-free, so I'm super excited.
I saw, and that's really cool. I haven't done that yet with any of my books. How is that working for you? Have you noticed a big kick-up?
Yes. Yeah, I have, and I'm super super excited about it. It's number 1 in mythology, and it's number 20 something in coming of age, and I don't think that it I'm excited. Yay! I mean, it's all free. It's free. It means diddly squat, but I'm excited people are meeting my imaginary friends. It's kind of
cool. Yeah, and that's everything. And I've seen some really, really persuasive numbers that talk about the metrics of having a free first book for people. I mean, it really, really does pay off. I don't know if you guys know Eva Poehler. She wrote the Gatekeeper series, and I met her last June, and she says she was really against putting that first book free, and she kept really good metrics after she did it, and it really proved out to make her much more money per sale from the people who had who had downloaded those first 3 books, and then went on to get the rest of her series. I mean, all her numbers shot up, and she was making more money. So I think it was a really great move on your part. I hope it works out well for your series, too.
Yeah, Christy Cook says the exact same thing. She says, you know what, it just made a huge difference. And I don't remember if it was, I think she said it was kind of an accidental thing, but she said after she did it, she was super happy.
Yeah, we need to definitely do a night, I think, about that and pricing strategies and why that works and how to feel good about it and how many books you should have out before you try it. But I know you've got a very specific plan for your series, and I think that's exactly the right way to do it.
Thank you.
So I'm also really excited. We've got 2 people here with us tonight who I think are going to be so awesome at talking us through book launches.
So awesome.
They've both done it a bunch of times.
And they know all the things.
They do, with phenomenal success. And one of them even does it for other people now, too. So please, please, please join me in welcoming Lynn Rush and Nazarea Andrews with us tonight.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Hey. Hey. So how are you, Lynn? You've got a big release coming up, don't you?
I do, and I'm doing great. I'm sweating out here in the desert. It's 98 degrees, but doing great otherwise. And yes, my second book in the Touch of Frost trilogy releases next week.
Check out all you girls with your winter books in May.
I know, right? Got to put a little frost in, the Memorial Day weekend, and yeah.
Totally. Keep cool in the hot summer.
Yes.
And what about you, Nazarea? You just had a Peter Pan book come out that I love the sound of. How are you? How did that go?
It went really, really well. I'm super excited about it. Girl Lost is doing really good, and people like it, and I'm getting a lot of questions about it, and so yeah, things are good.
That seems to be the trick, and I'm finding that more and more you really need people to care enough and wonder enough to ask questions, because they're the ones that keep talking to you somehow. Do you find that true with your books?
Yes. It wasn't really intentional, but my Peter Pan retelling and then my zombie new adult, The World Without a Future, both of them ended up with lots of questions, and readers are very persistent in asking for the sequels for both of those.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Is there a way you think to like make it easy for people to ask you questions? Have you figured that out? Because I feel like I know people have questions about my books, but they don't always ask them until like they really get a hold of me somewhere obvious. And I wonder if there's a better method to draw them in a little bit.
I ended on cliffhangers, and I know. I know people are really against that, and it wasn't. Well, with The World Without a Future, it was intentional, and that was like where the book needed to end. With Girl Lost, that was just the natural ending point in my mind for the story, and everybody's like, no, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I can do more. So, yeah.
Are you working on the sequel already, or is that not in your schedule right now?
It is. It's in my. I'm not doing a full-length novel. It's going to be a novella, because I don't feel like there's a whole novel worth left to tell. So there's going to be a novella, and it's going to be later this summer or early fall.
Oh my God! What does that bring you up to for the year?
God, I don't even know, and I don't really want to count because it's kind of depressing when I think about it. So,
if y'all don't know, Nazarea is like this amazingly prolific writer. She puts out so much work, and it's all so good. And I don't know how you do it, and I just bow to you.
And you have kind of a day job where you do this for other people. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because I really don't know how you do both.
I'm the event specialist at Inkslinger PR, if you haven't heard of it.
I know, and in the nature of full disclosure, I mean, ST and I are both working with you, so that's not why you're on here, but we both obviously love you, and we're excited about that, so...
I have a writer crush on her, so...
Yeah, I think everybody really does need to know that that's one of the reasons we wanted you in particular to come and talk to us about this, because we figured this way we would get all our questions answered, and they're probably the same questions that most of our listeners have too.
I'm kind of, sort of, but yeah, I do blog tours, I do cover reveals, I do launches, and just recently we started doing chapter release blitzes.
What's a chapter release blitz?
It's something that we're finding is working really well, and we work with the author and set up a day, usually a couple weeks to a month after the release of the book, that we release either a scene or a full-length chapter, and it draws interest to the book again. And we ask bloggers to participate, and we get as many people as we can, and it's just kind of a concentrated blast of attention on the book after the release day.
That's called chapter release blitz. I'm literally writing this down. Chapter release blitz.
That is awesome. So we're going to go through all the stages of a book launch in just a couple minutes, but first we've got to get some Twitter news in there, because if we don't, people will get very upset, and we love hearing what everybody's talking about on Twitter and all the good things that are happening for them. And I have a really fun announcement. I'm going to do, a friend of mine is a personal stylist, and she always dresses me for conferences.
Oh,
and
nice.
She puts together like a whole look that includes like a travel day and events dresses, and she starts doing this for me in October. And we were talking about it so much that we're gonna do kind of like a quasi NA Lit chat on Monday morning, and everybody who wants to come into the Google Hangout, she'll give you guys advice, and she'll even help you shop for outfits and stuff. But the whole goal is to be able to take your online personality and your brand and stick it in a suitcase and not spend a lot of money on it and take it to conferences, because we all know we sit around in our pajamas all day, most of us, and going out in the real world can be a big challenge when it comes to clothes.
It can.
That is awesome, Amy.
So I hope you guys will all come and hang out with us for that. I'll send out the links in a little bit, but I want to see, ST, do you want to hear what everybody else is talking about on Twitter and what their good news is?
Yes, please. Melissa Maygrove, congratulations, released her debut on Monday, and you can check it out at melissamaygrove.com.
Sweet.
So congratulations, Melissa.
That's awesome.
C. Giovanni Author opened up signups for the cover reveal for In Between Seasons. So the description, it looks like, is over if you check that Twitter feed at C. Giovanni Author. Chris Fox got away from an evil job that will hopefully let him focus more on his writing. Yay, Chris.
Yay. That means we can bother him more, is really what that means to us.
Sorry, Chris, we're calling you.
Mhm.
Heatherin76 says, my first NA Lit is up for grabs. It released this week from Swoon Romance, and the release has been amazing. So congratulations, Heatherin.
That's awesome.
Cat Girl Studio, Alicia Cat says, my good news this week was my cover reveal for Beautiful Stranger. That was on Monday. She's included a link, so if you check the NA Lit chat feed, it looks like it's there.
That cover was sick. It's so cat. It's like, it's a little bit familiar in that way that it draws you in, and then it's totally different and blows like the trend out of the water. I love it. And she does her covers herself. She's one of those who's like got the art skills and the writing skills, and I really
She does.
admire
She
that.
has an eye. I don't have the artistic eye at all, and she truly does.
Oh, she's the eye, but she can actually make the stuff too. It's impressive. You have to check it out.
We've got Lizzie Hope Faith says, for me, I'm still working on my story, The Unspoken, and have gotten further in it for the first draft. So good for right on.
Keep moving forward.
S.J. Pahona says, hey, any lit chat, I need help with an epic cover reveal for my, oh, wait, I know what this means. I keep thinking it's NASCAR. NA Science Fiction Romance, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Needs help with an epic cover reveal for her NA Science Fiction Romance series. So Lola's Blog Tours is handling SJ's cover reveal. So head over there if you want to check it out.
I got the sneak preview, and they're
Is it amazing?
amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. And I think it's also, SJ says that she has a free story coming up. Y'all will be helping me make it free. Oh, sorry, LK Lewis author has a little bit of input on what is necessary for a book launch. Amy might want to share that.
Well, yes, let's let her kick this off because I think she's completely right. The things necessary for a book launch, according to LK Lewis author, and this is why we love her, we've got lots of wine and peanut butter M&Ms.
Love it.
Sold.
And I would add some really good friends around, like in person
yes.
and online, to hold your hands and talk you off the ledge. So what do you guys think? Lynn, what are your, like, you've done this, how many books have you put out, and what are your go-to, like, do you have any traditions around them? Do you have any things? Before we talk about the business side, like, let's talk about the personality side of the things you must do.
Oh yeah, and I agree with the whole M&M things, but I'm definitely a sugar baby girl or a red wine girl, and anything chocolate is always good. But I love taking time off from my day job and just sitting around and interacting with anybody and everybody who posts comments or posts blog posts or anything, so I can say hi and say thank you to everybody participating. That just makes the whole day for me.
Very cool. So how many books have you put out?
All right, so I believe this is number 10.
Wow. And when did you start? When was your first book release?
2011.
Okay, so you're a good, solid 3 years into this job.
Yes, and the one that I'm releasing this week is only my second self-published book, so I'm kind of just new to jumping into that world.
Now, how does that compare? Like, how have you prepared differently for those books than you did for your other book launches? Because I think that's a really important, difference that we need to talk about for everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have the backing of the publisher, like, all of their skills, and if they have a marketing department, you don't have that behind you. So that's a little bit different, but a lot of it is the same in the sense that you're very, very active in however you get the blog tour set up, whether it's me doing it myself, me hiring someone, or my publishing company doing it. You just have to be involved, and I just love that part in reaching out. A lot of ads, like with the vampire novels ads, and a bunch of different places you can go to put ads. Those are really important for self-pub as well.
Where do you
like where?
Yeah, where do you tell us, and then we'll tell you how awesome we think you are, because you've been so on the ball, like with your release party. You guys are just super organized with all of that, and it's just literally inspiring to watch. So, okay,
well,
where do we buy the ads? You're welcome.
There's the one that I really, really love. It's called I Love Vampire Novels, and it's not just for vampire novels. It's paranormal, so you get exposed to the whole paranormal world, which is what I write. That's been good. E-News Reader Today has been another exciting discovery. for me, and they just get your book in front of so many people you just can't on your own.
Well, and they're great because they have an option, or maybe it's all mandatory, where you only pay when you make a sale, right?
Exactly. They take a certain percentage of all the clicks that they get you.
Which for, people that don't have a huge budget, that makes a big difference.
It really does, and it's worth it. It's worth it.
Well, I think that's a really safe place to try to advertise too, because I know for me, I've dabbled in, online advertising a little bit, and I'm trying to come up with a better plan for my next release. But it's very hard to tell where the money you spend pays off. I tried to do something on Goodreads, and I mean, it took me a lot. It's a pay-per-click thing too, but it took me a long time to get enough clicks to go through my budget, and it definitely did not translate to book sales. And that, obviously, you're spending money to make money. You're not spending money to get exposure once you actually have books out. So
right.
It's a tricky proposition to figure out where that can come from. So
how do you do it with the release? Because don't you need to have your buy links, but then your stuff isn't live? Is that where the pre-orders come in? Like, how do you advertise a release of a book?
For me, I mean, I've never, as a self-pub, never been able to get pre-orders. I understand we're going to talk about that a little bit later, how Smashwords is really helping us in that category. But I have to do a lot of the promo after it's live, and I let the book go live, like a week early so I can send links out to people. But, yeah, I mean, like with vampire novels, you have to have a link pretty early on, so you might have to advertise like a month after you release.
And is there any detriment to just setting it live that week early so you can do that, or do you feel it's better to do it that way, or to wait the month and then do the advertising then?
I like having it early because, I mean, you can kind of consider it a soft opening, a soft release, and then you're celebrating on a specific day where you just have fun. I mean, we have a 3-day Facebook party scheduled, 2 hours every night, Twitter parties. I mean, and then you don't have to worry about all that stuff like the night before, uploading it and things like that. I love it, so I do the week before. But
and you guys have a massive party planned next week. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Wait, Nazarea, what do you think about that? What do you think about soft launches and hard launches and uploading early versus how does that affect your numbers? Is that the best way to do things, or do you guys have a different strategy that you use?
I always upload at least 3 days early, usually, and that makes me nervous. I usually do it at least a week early. And
you do the same thing.
Yeah, and I suggest to clients that they do the same, because it's easier for me to send buy links at one time with all of the other information than to do it later, and that way the blog posts that are going up on their release days and on their blog tours, they already have that, and people don't forget to go back in and add it to it later.
Exactly.
So,
I'm so grateful y'all are having this topic tonight.
Yeah. So let's flip this then.
Hey, Amy?
Yeah?
I was just going to interrupt real fast. Lynn, if you get a chance, can you type over here in the chat window some of those sites that you were mentioning earlier? I didn't catch all of them. I was trying to tweet and do that stuff while other people were, conversating, whatever. And I'll share it because people are requesting on Twitter that I share some of those out.
I'll type them for Amy just did it. Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.
Sure. So let's talk about pre-orders and the stages of a book launch. Now, Nazarea, can you go through what those would be and what the right order is and a general timeline of how you see them?
Okay, pre-orders, this is going to be the first that I've really talked about it, because I don't do that. I haven't figured it out. So that's super exciting, and I want more information from whoever has it.
Let's talk about what you do then. I said do. Let's talk about how you guys do this now.
For book release, I like to have, I start planning a book release several months in advance when I have the original draft in front of me, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do and where I want to go with this book. And so the first thing you do is pick your release day, and then you work backwards about 2 months for your book. And that's that's when, for me, I start really publicizing and pushing out the book. And I like to have my arcs to bloggers for both myself and my clients about a month in advance, because bloggers are super busy people, and the sooner you can get the arc to them, the better, because then they have more time to read it, and they don't end up backing out at the end and saying, I don't have time to read this book. So those are like really important steps in my mind, getting the arcs and getting the cover reveal out. And then you can start, once people know that the book's there with the cover reveal, which I guess to me is like, oh, hey, look, this book is here. I mean, people might hear about it a little bit beforehand when you're talking and tweeting and whatnot, but the
it makes it tangible.
Yes, the visual and the blurb, and so they can get excited about it. And Goodreads, adding the book on your to-be-read shelf on Goodreads, I haven't seen it always translate to a lot of sales, but it does push visibility, and people, you know, that helps. Visibility helps. So there's that, and then there's just keeping it in people's minds, whether you're talking about it, whether or not you're doing teasers, whether you're getting bloggers to feature you, or excerpts, just things like that keep the book and you in people's minds until you've got to your release day.
Well, and you gave me a really good piece of advice. You suggested doing Goodreads giveaways. And yeah. I personally have seen it might not translate to sales, but I've seen my to-be-reads go up a lot since I started doing that. So that, for me at least, ended up being a really great thing. So thank you.
And I think that the Goodreads giveaways, they bring you in front of a different kind of audience. So, like, the people that you see on Twitter every day, and the people that, you know, you form relationships with bloggers, and you get featured on the same blogs, and, you know, hopefully you're going beyond that with each book. But with Goodreads, you're going into a whole other sphere of people, because you have no idea who's looking at that giveaway and adding it and getting interested in you and your other books. So I've had people that I've never heard of before win a book and be like, oh my gosh, can I read more? And I'm like, yeah, please.
Well, and Goodreads, I mean, if you sign up and you add a book to your want to read, I mean, you have to be getting their promotional posts, but they will tell you when the book goes live, or at least what they think the release date is, as you know, as far as it is in their system. And that can be kind of helpful if people actually, I don't know, I block a lot of the promo stuff that I get, but if I had more time to read, that's probably one of the ones that I would let through, because you already know, you know, that you've at least identified it in some way, shape, or form, and you want to hear about it.
Yes.
That's where I think Goodreads, you know, the add it to my shelf comes in the most handy, and I don't know what the click-through is on that, but now that they are together with Amazon, it might improve a lot. You know, that might be even tighter information.
That would be ideal.
That would be ideal. Well, so let's talk. I'll tell you guys what I have learned about pre-orders just in the past couple weeks studying it. I'm doing a box set of Ocean books with some amazing authors. And all the proceeds, it's 12 full-length novels, and all the proceeds are going to go, it's done in honor of World Oceans Day, and all the proceeds are going to go to the Ocean Project, and they help to educate people about the ocean. And so we wanted to make sure that we only had it on sale for a short time, because everybody's being very generous in donating all the sales, but we wanted people to be able to order it. So I've been looking into this a good bit, and Smashwords will let you do pre-orders on Smashwords and on iBooks and on BN.com. And wow. It's kind of amazing, because what they basically do is they collect all those orders for you, and then it gets counted on the day that your book goes live. So there's a few benefits to that, you know, not the least of which is a
A boost in your numbers.
Exactly. It's a big boost in your numbers. It also gives you a place to drive traffic to that is not Goodreads, that like could actually count in sales. And it does give you some buy links to promote, immediately in anything that you do beforehand.
Is that fairly easy to set up, or is it a difficult process?
I don't know because I haven't done it yet, but it looks pretty easy from what I can tell. It just you have to have your book in there. They say a 5-day minimum. A couple weeks is ideal, but they basically want you to have your finished novel because it could take them a couple days to trickle it out to all their sales partners.
Right.
So if you give them like an arc and then you upload the real deal the night before, some of those people that get that delivery the first day, they might not get your final book, and that might not be what you want. So they seem to be, they seem to understand enough that there are people that are putting like placeholders in there, but they definitely recommend that if you're going to do that, you at least give yourself that same week-long buffer zone that you guys are suggesting on Amazon. So I think that could tie together really well if you set it up, for pre-orders on those sites. And then Amazon only seems to give pre-orders to people by invitation. So they do it if you're a big enough draw, you'll get a pre-order slot, or if you're a big publisher, you'll get a pre-order slot. But those pre-orders are counted differently. They certainly add up to sales, but they all count beforehand. So they don't go to your like opening day boost. So that's a toss-up. I've heard people say, good and bad things about both of those. So Lynn, what do you think? How would that work with your pre-launch strategies and your timelines? Is that something you might want to try, or do you think it's kind of you have your own way of handling it and you don't really need that for yourself?
Oh no, I would love to get involved in the pre-orders even more. I'm usually exclusive to Amazon the first 90 days with this first venture into self-pubbing, but with my publisher Entangled, they get the pre-order up 6 weeks early, but we don't necessarily push it because Amazon, like you said, is a little bit different. It may count toward your first day push, but the rankings are that it messes with your rankings.
Right.
So and you want to get ranked on Amazon, because that's the most influential at this point. It sounds like so.
Right. I'm not quite sure why that negatively affects your rankings when in general the sales all, but yeah. I know that everybody does say that if you can get your biggest boost in those first couple days, you slip into their algorithms and you slip into their promotional spots, and if you miss that window, it really takes a much bigger push to catch up. I'm not sure what it is.
They have promotional spots on Amazon?
Not that you can buy, but like if they think that your book fits into a niche, and they'll send out an email blast to everybody that has indicated that they like Norse mythology, paranormal books.
Get out.
And yours will be one of the ones that you might like. But there doesn't seem to, I think publishers can buy those spots, but for indies, you just have to be lucky enough to get one. And I've seen other people's books, like Laura Howard, she just had a big release last week, and Amazon... Yeah, Amazon sent me her book as one I might like, and I was kind of psyched for her that
I get Christy Cook's books all the time. You might like. Promise. Why, yes, I did. Thank you, Amazon.
Yeah. But if you can slip into that part of their system, that's pretty huge.
Wow, I didn't even know. I should have, but that's amazing.
There's so much to know.
There's so much to know. Well, I want to interrupt real quick. S.J. Pahonis over on Twitter is talking about Pretty Links. Do you guys know about that?
Never heard of it. I'd like to know more.
I guess it's like some kind of a website where you can sort of filter and then control where a link ends up going. So you could put like in your back matter, if you don't know your buy link yet, you can put in a link and then it will take you to, say, your website. And then from your website, you can later direct it to your buy link. And I don't know quite how that works, but she said it was called Pretty Links, and she's planning on using it.
See, my problem with that is this is how Skynet started, and now we're going to have Terminator robots coming in. That gave me a migraine.
I'm sorry, EJ. Clone Wars.
I don't know why that's a problem for you, because I think that makes sense. Basically, what you're doing is you're giving them a placeholder that you then have control of. So you're basically sending them to buy my books on your website, and then as soon as you have the buy links on Amazon, they're still clicking the same thing. They're still clicking a live link in your book, but you're changing it on the back end and sending them right to the point of sale. And that's kind of brilliant. I didn't even know about that.
And Alicia Cat Vansel said Pretty Links is a WordPress plugin. So there you go.
Sweet.
I still have a flip phone, so I think this is above me a few steps, but I'll catch that. I'll catch up. I will.
You did not say flip phone.
I do, and I'm keeping it, and they don't even make them anymore. They're like, when this one goes, you are getting it. And I'm like, no. I want my thumb phone.
That's what eBay is for.
Right?
I love flip phones. We were designing icons and graphics back in the day when they were just like 64 characters across and all black and white and choppy images, and they were some of the coolest artwork that we ever did. They were like mosaics, all black and white, really fun stuff. Hieroglyphics and whatnot.
Speaking of artwork, can I offer one more piece from Twitter real quick?
Yeah.
D.A. Bada says that Clicks by Amy Evans is up for Best Sci-Fi Cover and Best Debut Novel at Utopia 2014.
Yay!
Yay! So yeah, you guys only have 24 hours left to vote, so get on that, please. Not just for me, but there's so many people in our community that have been nominated for the awards. It's just an awesome way to show support. So go vote. I think DA has been so precious with sending out the links, and I love him for it.
So cute.
He really is. So, okay, let's talk about some practical matters here so that everybody can really dig into this. So we've got, EJ gave us this pretty little graphic about the stages of a rocket launch. And we've talked a little bit about, blog tours and a little bit about timelines. But essentially, you want to have your release date identified 2 months in advance. You want to start talking about it and promoting it. And you want to be setting up your blog tour and sending out a cover arc. Now, I've heard that the magic number is sort of like 9 weeks out, you do a cover reveal, and then you basically, from 9 weeks out, you should already have your arcs in hand, do the cover reveal, and then just have those like 2 months to be promoting and sending out arcs and getting bloggers excited. Do you guys think that's realistic, or is that just something that does not happen in the indie publishing space very often?
Well, I mean, it's debatable. I've heard a couple school of thoughts. I've always been along the 3-month line. Get your bloggers booked out 3 months, especially the really busy, high-traffic bloggers. They have people lined up to get to them, and have your arcs ready. But I've also heard if you start too early, you become white noise. And so there's another school of thought that I'm aware of that has been working fairly successfully, is that you don't do anything until you've got a pre-order link, period. And barely even do it then, because people they see a cover, yes, it's awesome, where's the buy link? Dang it, well, they forgot about it then. So there's a couple school of thoughts out there. I'm kind of in between. I'm torn.
Yeah. Well, I know I went through with Nazarea the other night. I don't know. EJ calls you Naz, so we have him to blame for everything, always, all the time. But we went through like the whole year of when the rest of the series is going to be released, and it's scary to think about, but it's really exciting when you are thinking that far ahead in advance as well. It feels better than like kind of playing catch up, which I feel like I'm much more prepared to try to do things quickly, and you need to have those dates in advance that way.
Yeah, you've got to be proactive. Reactive doesn't work.
Well, no. If you're thinking about hiring a blog tour company or a publicist of any kind, and I'm not just talking about Inkslinger, but at all, you have to be thinking several months in advance. Inkslinger, my personal schedule, I am not taking any more clients until August at the very earliest, because we're booked through August. And I have clients on the books all the way into January of 2015. So people have to think in advance if they want to hire somebody, which, not everybody does, and that's totally okay. But if you are thinking about that, be aware that, and that even takes time getting, it's not, you can't just email a publicist and get a response the same day, because they're usually very busy people. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think if you're going to try to work with somebody new as well, you want to allow just some extra time for that, because it's hard enough to get, things moving in the right order at the right time with people you've worked with before.
Yes.
So if you're going to switch or try something new, then definitely plan ahead for that. Now, so that does change your timelines a little bit if you're hiring out. I see people who are doing things for themselves, and I'm sort of shocked at how fast they seem to be able to put things together. Now, is that just me reading inappropriately between the lines and only paying attention to a little bit of information, or are there really people who have enough connections and who have done this enough that they can get enough bloggers and get Facebook parties together and get enough fans to get everything done in just a couple weeks ahead of schedule? Is that something that you see that works, or is that just me thinking it works when it really doesn't pan out for anybody?
I think it works on a very limited basis. I mean, there are some people who can do it, but for the newer authors who haven't got a lot of connections yet, who haven't been established yet, and even for people who are still working to establish themselves, that's going to be difficult. I mean, I don't think that I could do it. I mean, I don't think that on my own I could put together a blog tour and a release day and all of what goes into releasing a book in just a couple of weeks.
I don't agree with you. I'm pretty sure there's nothing you can do. So serious. You blow me away. Like, you wrote this book and had it out like 2 months later, and it's doing so well, and you're amazing.
And you still managed to be Facebook messaging all of us at midnight with like good spirits and taking in real information. So I just think it's super impressive. But
I'm blushing.
Yes, you should be. We're all a little bit wowed.
We are. Like I tell people all the time, talk to Nazarea. She knows all the things.
So that could be your problem, because SU's sending everybody your way.
You're so nice. You answer them. Thank you for answering them.
So when do you readjust timelines? Let's talk disaster preparedness. What do you do when you miss a timeline? When do you delay a launch? How do you deal with fans? What should be your priority in that kind of a case? To like do damage control and save your brand and make people as happy as you can.
Damage control is always important. With the release of Girl Lost, we had a bit of a technical mishap with Amazon, and it was actually on release day that we realized it. And the first thing that we were doing was damage control, letting people know what the problem was, that we were aware of it, what we were doing to fix it. Obviously, you don't want that kind of situation on release day, and it was kind of a nightmare. So I hope that none of y'all ever have to deal with that.
And just to give it
so graciously. Though.
Yeah, you did. And just to give an extra shout out to Nazarea's Superwoman skills, she also moved that day.
Yeah, it was really, really awesome.
Yeah, but you did it.
Did it. I'm not redoing it. I'm not doing that particular sequence of events again. But, you have to, I think that this industry, you just have to be like super, super flexible and be aware that everything can change anytime, and you have to know what you're going to do if something does go wrong. If your editor gets sick and she doesn't have your book to you in time, what do you do then?
What do you do?
Well, I personally try and schedule enough time that if my editor gets sick and she's going to have the book to me 2 weeks late, it doesn't destroy my timeline.
Exactly.
What about you, Lynn? Have you ever had any of this stuff happen? Have you ever either blown a deadline or been close or worried about it? And what were your thoughts? And what did you decide to do?
Well, I haven't on any of mine with a publishing house. Those deadlines were met just fine, no problem. My original self-publishing plan for the Touch of Frost trilogy was to release them and have all 3 ready to go, so I could do 1 month, 1 month, 1 month, just bam, bam, bam. And life happened and delayed everything. So one thing you got to remember to do is update your website everywhere, because people did email me saying, "Where's your book? You said it was going to release in October and it's November." So, you know, you got to remember to fix it everywhere if you've announced that you were going to release it. So that's the only one that I missed as far as in the self-publishing world, and I just did a post about it and tried to get it everywhere that I had announced. The next one would come out in October. And, you know, the readers are awesome. They're gracious, you know, and it's tough to deal with that, but it's also nice to see that they're looking forward to the next book. And I was just very heartfelt, said life happened, I didn't expect it. Here's it's coming out, here's the plan. So,
and that sort of motivates you. I mean, I had that happen recently, and it was an exact, like, perfect storm of life happens, and I was kind of putting so much pressure on myself that it was not working. And when I finally, like, gave myself some breathing space, I got a lot of other things done, and now I can reapproach again and rethink things through again. But it was really hard to admit that, like, there was a Will Rogers quote that said something like, the most important thing to do when you figure out you're in a hole is stop digging.
yeah.
And I just at one point had to be like, oh my God, this is gonna, not only am I gonna miss this, but it's gonna mess up all the other things. And at some point you need to say, like, stop, refocus, and I'm, you know, still annoyed at myself about it, but it's coming together again now, and now I feel better about it. But that was a hard lesson to try to deal with. I don't know.
It is, but we're all human. I mean, readers are human. You know, they have lives. They understand things happen, and, you know, it's all good. You grow from it. Next one will be awesome.
Yeah, it just, you know, like, it's hard enough to have things like that happen in your private life, but when all of a sudden you're on the record with people and they're not your friends or your mom or
Exactly.
it's like a whole different ballgame.
Aww.
So I wanted to ask real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Esty. You may be chiming in with what I was going to say.
Is it the Wattpad?
No, I've just seen this retweeted a few times. I wanted to get the panel's like a consensus answer. I know we've already talked about it, but basically they were just saying if Goodreads doesn't work and blog tours, like as far as like translating to sales, like we know they create exposure, but if those things don't translate to sales, then what do? Ads, you know, good reviews. Like, what are the things from our panel that you guys have seen that do translate to sales, or have you seen anything?
Well, and over on Twitter, they're talking about using Wattpad to drive sales too. Is that something you guys have had experience with? Does that drive the sales?
No.
I've been on Wattpad before and kind of dismissed them, but, you know, if you're not willing to go, you know, 100% forward with it, then yeah, it probably isn't going to work. You can't do a lot of things kind of half-assed. You gotta pick a few key things and then do it wholeheartedly. But I've had a lot of success with Facebook parties and being on other people's Facebook parties and helping other people celebrate exciting things, being out there, lifting them up, and then, you know, meeting people. It's all about connections and meeting people. But Facebook parties, Twitter parties, and then the ads I've taken out. And again, the pricing strategy. You know, you're at free or you're at 99 cents for one. They read it and then they want to look forward to your other books. And if you have a backlist, I mean, that's huge. You just got to keep writing and keep putting quality product out there, and they're going to grab them and say, yes, I want to see everything else.
And
that's something that I try and stress to clients and remember myself. And it's difficult, but it's not one book. It's a career. Your career continue to grow, and your sales are going to continue to grow, and you might have to put out more than one book or more than 3 books before you see the success that you want. And it's going to keep growing, though, and as long as you keep putting out quality work and communicating with your readers and building relationships, which is the most important thing you can do, your career is going to continue to grow.
Totally.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think that's been the biggest thing that I've learned from watching certain people who make it look so easy to keep. I mean, H.M. Ward makes it look so easy. Everything she puts out is gorgeous. It's all really interesting. She manages to have like ongoing conversations with all of her fans, and she's so prolific. I mean, she has novellas and she has novels, and it's really a lot. I don't understand how she does it all and makes it look so good, but it seems to be volume. We're gonna have a whole night with Wattpad. They are coming on the first.
Oh, cool.
Sweet.
Because there's a lot of buzz over on Twitter with that. And also Chris Fox is chiming in and agreeing with you, Amy, and saying, well, with everybody really, and saying backlog. Just the more you have on your backlist, the more you're going to sell.
And I mean, I would love to talk to people that have actually seen putting the first chapter on Wattpad drive sales, because I have had lots of conversations with them for 2 years. They featured clicks, and the whole book is up there. I've had like 350,000 people check it out, and almost 3,000 finish the whole book at 17 chapters, reading it on their phone. That's kind of impressive.
Wow.
And
not my phone, because flip phones can't do that.
Well, it actually could, and actually, I'm gonna give you really, really immediate information. So they put the Jelly Bean Kisses novella up last Friday as part of their featured whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think going into it last Friday, I had like 1,000 reads on it. And now, as of right this minute, it has 26,452 people have checked it out.
Oh my gosh, Amy, that's amazing.
Yes, it has not translated to sales at all. It's a different audience.
Wait, so do you not, I don't understand how they get it without buying it. I'm sorry, I'm new.
No. Well, and again, we're going to have a whole night on this. But
okay.
there are definitely people that have put up, chapters 1 through 6 in their book, and it does give them exposure. But I am going to pin them to the wall on this. No one has any statistics that Wattpad readers who are checking you out are the same people who are buying books.
Got it.
It's a different audience. These are people who are looking for short attention span fiction. They're reading on their phones. They're not expecting full novels. Lee Talbert Moore and I were like joking about this, like how many of, even though it says in like big bold letters, like this is a book, it's published on Amazon, it's published in Barnes & Noble, it's published here, you can buy the paperback. People will be like, wow, this is so good, it should be a book. Or like, you should be a real writer. And it's awesome, but that's like, it's a different audience. And all you can kind of hope is that these people will grow up and have credit cards, and you're still going to be writing in a couple years when they are buying books. That's my theory.
Michael Simcoe wants to know, are there readers on Wattpad or just writers?
Oh, no. There are millions of readers. If you look at their statistics, they have millions of words being consumed. This is an entire night's worth of conversations, and I definitely encourage people to go and play with Wattpad, but there's a lot of stuff to learn, and unless they're going to feature you, I would not make your books completely available to them.
Hey, y'all, I wanted to throw out real fast. Book Duchess on to see if any of y'all had experience with this. Book Duchess says Swoon Reads is where lots of authors are going now. They are owned by a pub company. Has anybody heard of Swoon Reads?
Yep.
Is this an advertiser?
No, Swoon Reads is, I'm going to mess up who it's owned by. Somebody can look this up really fast. They're all over my Tumblr. But it's basically a crowdsourcing fiction site. So if you go over there and people like your story, then they will actually pick it to publish. They were, I forget who it might be Source Books. I'm looking right now.
So it's like an American Idol type of
exactly
stories kind of deal. So people vote, and if they like it, then this publisher, whoever wins, the publisher publishes their story.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
It's definitely fun. You can submit a manuscript, and it's owned by Macmillan, so it's no small.
Oh wow.
It's no small dice, and it's a really great idea. And they have certainly released some really cute books. I haven't looked at their numbers to see how they're doing, but I like the stuff that they've been putting out for sure.
Does anyone know offhand, like, the rights exchange to that? Like, if you post a story on there, do they have, like, what if they pick it and you just say, no, I don't want to publish it? Is that cool? Do you know? Does anybody know? Or does it, like, belong to them until they say they don't want it type of deal?
I would love to read this website, but if I do it while we're on the air, it's going to get really boring.
Don't do that. We have 8 minutes left.
I have a question. I have a question for the girls. Okay, Twitter was asking what specifically works for gaining readership and gaining everything, and you've both talked a lot about reaching out to bloggers and finding like Facebook parties and Twitter parties. How do you find the bigger bloggers? How do you find the Facebook parties? Like, how do you find the things that work?
Well, if you're following a lot of blogs, you know, and you just learn from commenting and seeing other blogs comment, and you can Google it, and the top hits will come up, things like that. But it's just being around and asking, like if you're in any writers groups, you know, hey, what blogs are you following? I know I work with one of my publishers, and they're like, hey, these are some, you know, really big blogs. Let's, you know, get to know them and interact with them. And it's, again, relationships and connecting.
Got it.
And one thing that I did for This Love last June was there was a group of girls, and we all had books coming out in the same week, and we kind of piggybacked off of each other and
exactly
promoted each other, and all of us did, you know, we did well. We didn't do, like, it wasn't bestseller numbers, but we were all happy with what we did, and it was fun, and we built relationships. So.
Well, that's kind of what Lynn and Christy are doing, right, with your Facebook party?
Oh, yeah, and we're in a boxed set together as well, Curses, Fates, and Soulmates. So, you know, we got to work together on that release, and so we met a lot of other authors and you know, cross fan bases, things like that, and we just really loved working together, and we just happened to have the second books, you know, the one that we're in, the Curses, Fates, and Soulmates. Both of the books we have releasing next week are the second books, the sequels. So we're like, hey, let's get together and do a joint release since it's the sequels to the ones in our boxed set. So yeah, and then, you know, we asked our author friends or put the call out to people and say, hey, you want to party with us? You know, everyone loves a great party. So
I've definitely met a lot of great people that are book buyers from Facebook parties with other people, but I think the trick is to make sure, I've also been like in crickets and Facebook parties where I'm like, oh my God, why did I volunteer to do this? Like, I can manage all these people on Twitter, but I can't do this here, and it's boring and I don't know what to do. So I think you want to make sure that you're kind of getting some support. I did one a couple weeks ago with Karen Amanda Hooper, and she was so organized and so sweet. She really made sure that there was some chatter there, and she has some really great fans that were eager to come and hang out with everybody, so they made it really active. And Elizabeth Sharp did one a few weeks even before that, and that was fabulous. She had like 12 different authors in there like every hour, and it just really kept the energy going. And I've been in others where that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, it has to be organized for sure.
Yeah.
And street teams get involved. They spread the word. They bring in awesome pictures of, you know, rock hard abs. You know, you can never go wrong with that. But we have lots of fun.
Amy just described being in a glass case of emotion, by the way. She's like, there were crickets, and there were cobwebs, and people were not talking.
Milk was a bad choice.
Every time I do a Facebook party, I was like, what was I thinking? But it does seem to be a volume business. And we did one for when the Utopia Awards came out, one of the bloggers organized one, and it was like a 12-hour event with a whole bunch of people, and it was super fun. And because people knew they were going to be on enough in advance, they were participating in other people's, and it was very supportive, and it worked really well. So I think it's really just about making sure there's enough activity to make it worth your while, but it does get you exposure to new fans. I mean, it's really kind of amazing. And that's kind of the key, I think, with everything. So really fast, what's the most important thing you need to do to get through a launch week? We've got 411. What do you do to deal with bad reviews, to make the most of your blog tour? Like, what are your 3 best pieces of advice, Nazarea?
Have lots of chocolate and tissue to bad reviews.
But you should never react to bad reviews, right? That's like rule number 1.
No.
With the bad reviews ever. But just go in knowing that, go in with whatever expectations you're going to. Just go in and have fun and know that this one book, no matter what it does, it's not going to make or break your career. It's one book in a career. And you're going to have another book, and it's going to be the next book, and it's okay. Whatever happens, it's going to be okay. Yeah.
Very cool. And Lynn, what's your 411? Like, what's the most important thing you need to do for your release week?
I think the main thing is to go in and have fun. This is a journey. It's one day out of a whole great career ahead of you. But really, enjoying the journey, ups and downs, it's rocky, it's all good. But for release week, my main goal is to have fun and to meet people. I just love interacting with people online. And whether they buy my book or not, I don't care, it's okay. And whether I get bad reviews or not, I don't care, it's okay. I can't please everybody. I mean, I've DNF'd books, it's just, it happens. So you just got to have fun and remember why you do it. You love creating stories. I love living in a paranormal world and creating awesome characters. I know not everyone's going to love them, but I do, and I'm going to have fun with it.
Right. Well, and that's for all the talk about Wattpad and whether or not it sells books, it's still very valuable. It's just, for everybody to evaluate what they want to make available there and how much time they want to spend developing a community, because it does not just happen if you slap something on there and expect people to find it any more than that happens on Amazon. So that's really, the questions to talk about. But I'm so thrilled that you guys were able to join us tonight. This has been really educational for me. I'm looking at the Twitter feed really quickly, and I just wanted to pull in one really great piece of advice from Hey Chris Fox, and he says that people are massively, massively distracted today. So the easier you make it to click any form of buy is better. And I think he's right. I'm definitely going to try to do as much as I can with the pre-release links and see how that does. More so, not even because I think people might order them, but just because it gives people like something to do if you're able to get in their minds. What are you guys going to try for your new releases? Give us one thing that you've decided to try.
I think I'm pretty much doing everything the same. I mean, this is the first time I'm joint releasing on just an individual book. And I think it's going to be so much more fun.
Cool. What about you, Nazarea?
Well, my next release is in July, and I haven't figured it out yet. I'm definitely going to look into the pre-order now that I know it's available.
For sure.
You're welcome.
No, seriously, I mean, that's huge.
It's huge. I've really been looking into this. We'll see how well it works. A lot of people have really done it very well. And Draft to Digital also, I don't know if anybody uses them, but they're sort of an intermediary, and they take 10%, but they do a lot of formatting, and that can really, if you're not sure, that can save you some money up front. It's one of those things, if you don't really have the funds to pay for it, it's one way to get it done. And they also have a new pre-order option with all their vendors, which may mean Amazon. They didn't go on the record saying that yet, but they did hint at it. So it's worth keeping an eye on.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you, ST? You're doing everything right. If you guys don't know, ST has a book coming out on May 29th, and she's already knocking it out of the park. So keep an eye on everything she's doing, because she's doing it really, really well.
I'm doing what Nazarea said to do. She was really nice and sat down, and literally I sat down with a pen and a notepad and wrote down everything she said and just tried to do it because she knows all the things.
Well, and I think that your books are like the best lesson of I don't know. It's like such a hopeful story, because I know that you had a tricky time. You can
share. It's okay. I think everybody knows. But I was with a now defunct small press and took the rights back before they closed down. But it was still a rebooting year for me.
But But here's the thing. You have readers who loved your books, so much so that they have stayed in touch with you and stayed on your street team and stayed involved, and you've done a great job of keeping them engaged in between releases. And
thank you.
So now you have this awesome fan base that are so excited to tell everybody that now these books are available again, and they're even a tiny bit better, and they've got prettier new covers, and you're completely in control now. And I'm so excited for you. I think it's going to be awesome.
Thank you. I'm super grateful to the street team. Like, I just have the nicest group ever over there. So thank you, you guys.
ST is deceptively pesky. She really sticks with you. Like, you just cannot shake her free. D.A. Boda, I wanted to share this. He's very crestfallen. Apparently, he was hoping he could just write the one book and be done and have all the success in the world. So he's very
happens.
upset.
It's going to happen to somebody. Yeah, I mean,
I think
he's ready to drop the mic.
If D.A. and Michael co-wrote a book, I think that would be fantastic.
It would be hilarious. We would laugh. That's for sure.
Dinosaur porn.
Dolphin.
No! Okay, we're going to say goodnight and thank you very much.
Thank you guys for letting us ask all your questions. Like, I had so many personally, and Twitter had so many, and we're just super grateful we got to pick your brains tonight. So, Nazarea and Lynn, thank you for all of your answers.
Sure, thanks for having us.
You guys were awesome. So we had Lynn Rush, who's got a book coming out next week, and we've got Nazarea Andrews, and we will post links to both their sites and both their books. And Nazarea and I did a little interview that you guys can check out, and I'm going to pin Lynn down so she sits and talks to me too.
Sounds great.
So you guys can get to know her a little bit more. Thank you, EJ. Thank you, ST. Thank you, everybody in Twitter. And thank you to KK Hendon, who let you leave your awesome not at RT Facebook party tonight, Nazarea, which I think is genius.
And don't forget to vote for Utopia.
Yes.
Sweet.
Go vote for the Utopia Awards. This is Amy Evans. This has been NA Lit Chat. We are saying good night for now. We've got a very, 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 very awesomely amazing, impressive, exciting, special guest next week. And I'm just going to leave it there because I didn't check in with her today. Double check she's going to be here, but I think she is because we've been talking about it a lot. So we will tell you who that is in just a little while, but for now we are going to say good night.
Good night.